Welcome to Faith and Fury.
Thank you for listening to Give Me a Mulligan.
You know, you have your family, you have your friends.
Good Sunday morning, and thanks so much for joining us.
Click on the podcast, download it, and listen to the whole show.
Good morning, everyone. We are live at our podcast, PND 509.19. I am Victoria de la Cruz.
I'm Meir Flores.
And I am Galicia. And today, we are going to present with you the issues and challenges to Philippine National Development and the current stage of the Philippine National Development.
And addition lang, we will also be presenting the Ambition Natin 2040, the Philippine National Development in global context.
Yes, actually, PDP is anchored on Ambition Natin 2040, which, according to NEDA, or the National Economic Development Authority, represents the collective long-term vision and aspirations of the Filipino people for themselves and for the country. So, are you guys excited?
Yes.
Okay, to start, let's watch this short video.
We live in difficult times, brought about by some forces of our own making, but certainly also by forces that are beyond our control. But we have, and we will continue to find solutions. I have instructed the NEDA to coordinate with other agencies and work on the Philippine Development Plan for 2023 to 28 and to submit to me the complete blueprint and progress of its implementation not later than year-end.
Matatag, maginhawa at panatag na pamumuhay para sa bawat Pilipino. Ito ang mga hangarin ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. sa paglatag ng mga estratehiya na bumubuo ng Philippine Development Plan ng administrasyon na nagsimula sa pagpasok ng taong 2023. Ang Philippine Development Plan ang siyang magsisilbing gabay para isulong ang mga plano, programa at polisiya ng Administrasyong Marcos na huhubog ng masigla at maunlad na bagong Pilipinas. Sa ikalawang National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA Board Meeting noong December 15, 2022, inaprubahan ni Pangulong Marcos ang Philippine Development Plan na 2023 to 2028 kung saan nakalakip ang mga programang magpapausbong ng ekonomiya at lilikha ng milyong-milyong trabaho para sa mga mamamayang Pilipino. Ito ay kasunod sa kauna-unahang paglagda ni Pangulong Marcos sa General Appropriations Act na may pondong nagkakahalagang mahigit 5 trilyong piso na ilalaan sa mga programa, proyekto at operasyon ng bawat ahensya at opisina ng pamahalaan para sa taong 2023.
Important day. It is always an important day when we sign into law the General Appropriations Act. It is always very important that the GAA has been put together in consonance with all of the plans of the executive. And that kind of coordination and that kind of synergy that we will gain from that is going to be an essential part of the way that we move forward.
Nakaangkla din ang Philippine Development Plan ng Administrasyong Marcos sa isinusulong na 8-point socio-economic agenda ng Pangulo para tugunan ang mga pangunahing suliranin na ikinakaharap ng bansa sa pamamagitan ng pagtukoy sa short-term at medium-term development goals tulad ng job creation, economic transformation, and acceleration of poverty reduction. Batay sa pag-aaral ng DBS o Development Bank ng Singapore, nananatiling matatag ang ekonomiya ng Pilipinas kung saan nakapagtala ito ng 7.7 economic growth bago matapos ang taong 2022. At ayon din sa pag-aaral, bahagyaman itong bababa sa 6.3% sa taong 2023 dahil na rin sa mga hamon na patuloy na kinahaharap ng mundo gaya ng pagtaas ng mga pangunahing bilihin sa pandaigdigang merkado at sa pagkakaroon ng tensyon sa pagitan ng magkaibang bansa. Patuloy na namamayagpag ang ekonomiya ng bansa kung ihahambing ito sa mga karatig bansa na napapabilang sa Association of Southeast Asian Nations o ASEAN. Sa pamamagitan ng mga inilatag na estratehiyang napapaloob sa PDP o Philippine Development Plan, inaasahan na mapapanatili ang paglago ng ekonomiya ng bansa sa taong 2023 na inaasahang nasa 6 to 7% ang maitatalang GDP growth at inaasahang mapapanatili sa pagitan ng 6.5% hanggang 8% mula sa taong 2023 hanggang 2028. Kaakibat sa paglago ng ekonomiya ang pagdami ng trabaho na siya namang magsisilbing solusyon para maiangat ang kalidad ng pamumuhay ng bansa. Sa paglatag ng pamahalaan ng mga estratehiya na napapaloob sa PDP o Philippine Development Plan, inaasahan ang unti-unting pagbaba ng unemployment sa bansa mula sa dating 5.4%, maibababa ito sa 4% hanggang 5%. Isa rin sa mga hangarin ng Philippine Development Plan ang mapababa ang poverty incidence mula 18.1% na naitala sa taong 2021 sa 8.8 hanggang 9% bago matapos ang panunungkulan ni Pangulong Marcos. Bagamat mataas ang dinaranas na suliranin dahil sa global inflation bunsod ng mga hindi kontroladong sitwasyon sa pandaigdigan, nananatili ang kumpiyansa ng pamahalaan na mapababa nito sa 2 to 4% ang inflation rate pagdating sa presyo ng pagkain at mga pangunahing pangangailangan ng mga mamamayan. Higit sa paglatag ng mga mekanismo at programa ng pamahalaan tungo sa ikauunlad ng bansa, maaaninag din dito ang sinserong dedikasyon ng pamahalaang Marcos upang maabot ang pangarap na kaunlaran para sa sambayan ng Pilipino.
Ambisyon natin 2040. Ano ang ambisyon ng mga Pilipino? I'm Zheena Flores and let's talk about Ambisyon natin 2040. Philippine National Development is anchored on Ambisyon natin 2040, which according to NEDA or the National Economic Development Authority represents the collective long-term vision and aspirations of the Filipino people for themselves and for the country. Inilalarawan nito ang klase ng pamumuhay nating mga Pilipino at kung paano natin nakikita ang ating bansa by 2040. Ambisyon natin 2040 is a picture of the future. It is a set of life goals and goals for the country. Pero saan ba nagsimula at paano nabuo ito? Ambisyon natin 2040 is the result of the long-term visioning process that began in 2015. More than 300 citizens participated in focus group discussions and close to 10,000 uncertain national survey. Technical studies were prepared who identifies strategic options for realizing the vision articulated by the citizens. Base sa NEDA, they asked Filipinos to tell their aspirations. Specifically, they asked what Filipinos want to have, what Filipinos want to do, and what Filipinos want to be in 2040. At ang resulta, majority o 79.2% gusto ng simple at komportableng buhay. Samantalang 16.9% naman ang gusto ang buhay na may kaya at 3.9% naman ang naghahangad ng buhay mayaman. Ano kaya ang ibig sabihin nito? Nais ng halos 80% ng mga Pilipino ng simple at maginhawang buhay na sabi nga ng NEDA bilang mala middle class lifestyle. May sasakyan, may bahay, may pera at nakapagpatapos sa kolehiyo ang mga anak. Sa mga bagay naman na gusto nilang gawin, Marami ang nagsabi na gusto nilang makapagpatakbo o magkaroon ng sarili nilang negosyo at makapag-relax kasama ng kanilang mga pamilya at mga kaibigan. Gayon din ay makapagbakasyon sa Pilipinas man o sa abroad. In terms of decent job, majority of Filipino describe this as having good salary that is good enough for their daily expenses and needs, along with benefits and incentives, and of course, stability. Pagdating naman sa klase ng bahay, nagpakita sa mga respondents ng iba't ibang larawan ng bahay, gaya ng single detached, apartment, row house, at condominium. Ngayon, halos 3 sa 4 na respondent ang pumili ng small house with a big lot. Marami sa respondents ang gusto na makapagpatapos sa kolehiyo ang kanilang mga anak. Kaya naman, tinanong ang mga kabataan kung anong kurso o major field of study ang gusto nila. Base sa resulta, 16.5% ang pumili sa kursong education, 12.7% naman ay business administration at IT course. Samantalang 10.5% ang tourism and hospitality, 10% ay engineering and technology, kasama na ang law. Samantalang 6.9% ay medical and allied courses. At 6.7% para sa trade and maritime. In addition, Filipinos want to have their own vehicle that is equivalent to 77%, while 23% naman ang gusto for public transportation. And to sum up, ano nga ba ang ambisyon ng mga Pilipino? Let's hear it.
Guminhawa yung buhay namin. Gusto ko pong sustentuhan yung pamilya ko kung ano man yung ginawa niya sa akin ngayon.
Gusto ko magkaroon ako ng sariling house and lot at saka sakyan, tapos kahit maliit na negosyo.
Ako yung araw-araw ko makakain sa loob ng isang araw, 3 beses dapat. Pangarap ko po matupad po yung ginusto sa akin ng magulang ko.
Sana magkaroon ang gobyerno para sa libreng pagkonsulta, sa libreng hospitalization ng mga kagaya kong senior citizen.
Pangarap ko po sa sarili ko ngayon, unang-una po sa mga anak ko, na magkaroon po silang magandang buhay.
Gusto ko po na makapagtapos kasi para matulungan ko yung tatay ko.
Dream ko siguro is that I may be able to live in a Philippine government which is corrupt-free, a government who is caring to the people, able to provide all the needs, particularly education, food, and shelter for everyone.
Pangarap na pag-unlad, bakit nga ba parang kahirap abutin para sa ating bansang sinilangan? I am Victoria Ann E. Dela Cruz, and I will be discussing the overview of the issues and challenges to Philippine National Development. Marahil, dito papasok ang sabi ni Mr. John Nian ng Frederick Bastian Chair in Political Economy at the Mercatus Center at George Mason University sa isa sa kanyang mga dialogues. Anya, the Philippines is a system designed against development. Lagging growth has its roots in regulations and distortions that drive a wedge between the productive and unproductive sectors of the economy, largely to the benefit of the elite. A country is classified as part of developing countries when they fall under a high rate of population growth, low per capita income, primary sector dependence, high unemployment rates, and dependency on exports of primary commodities. That being said, most countries listed as developing countries belong to Asia, such as China, South Korea, Taiwan, India, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, and the Philippines. Even if they are on their way to growth, developing countries face more challenges along the way. The most difficult are decreasing poverty rates, access to quality education, and a good healthcare system for all its citizens. Third world countries, especially those in Southeast Asia, are experiencing these challenges, One of them is the Philippines. The Philippines' development performance during the past several decades has been less impressive than that of many of its East and Southeast Asian neighbors. In the 1950s and 1960s, the country had one of the highest per capita gross domestic products or GDPs in the region, higher than the People's Republic of China, Indonesia, and Thailand. However, the Philippines has now fallen behind. Its growth has not only been slow but also erratic, with frequent booms and busts. As a result, household incomes have not risen significantly. Poverty incidence has declined only slowly, and inequality remains high, which are constant reminders of the challenges that the Philippines faces in the new millennium. Ngayon, magbaliktanaw muna tayo dahil maaari nating masabi that the roots of the problems in the Philippines economy can be traced back to World War II, when soldiers from Japan occupied the country. The Philippines' worst inflation was then recorded in history. Pagkalipas naman ng maraming taon, masasabi natin that the Philippines struggled again with its economic growth in recent years during the Marcos era of martial law, due to stemming from the negative image attached to the country. Marcos aimed to lead the country for consecutive terms and use the country's resources following his agenda. Oppositions against the administration then rose. This included Benigno Aquino Jr., a Filipino journalist and politician who was assassinated right as he landed at Manila International Airport. His death ignited the distrust of his citizens to its government. The Philippines' debt in the World Bank increased from 600 million to 26 billion during the Marcos regime. The debt was caused macroeconomic effects in the Philippines, with the country continuing to pay for its debt using the current national income and remittances. At present, the Philippines is continuously facing a high population rate and low gross domestic product. Millions of Filipinos are still suffering from poverty and struggling with exporting their products, upward inflow is greater than outflow of commodities within the country. Yet, the Philippines is still aiming to become advanced economically and socially. The country is keeping up with industrialization to increase the quality of life for Filipinos and promote sustainability. It continues to look for foreign investors from Asia-Pacific and even foreign investments from the US and Europe to invest in real estate and use the country's natural resources to advance the economy. The Philippines also uses capital markets to optimize the national budget it has towards the country's development. Economists suggest that developing countries should focus on investing in education like developed countries. However, Filipinos' income under the labor force isn't enough to afford basic education. The Philippine government gives subsidies to far-flung areas through public schools. Yet, these schools are still lacking funds, resulting in low-quality education and subpar human development in the country. Kaya dapat din tutukan ang educational development dahil isa itong paraan to diverge away from poverty. Maganda na nakikipag-ugnayan ang Pilipinas sa iba't ibang ahensya kasi nagkaroon ng powerful connection to end disparities in education setup ng Pilipinas. Dahil sa tumataas na dropout rate, ang ating mga paaralan ay kasalukuyang nahihirapan sa kung paano pananatilihin ang mga bata sa paaralan. Ang hindi magandang kalagayan ng edukasyon ay makikita sa mababang antas ng functional literacy ng mga Pilipino. Isa pa ay ang child labor na isang seryosong issue na napakakaraniwan na ang mga bata na dapat ay nasa paaralan ay nagtatrabaho upang suportahan ang kanilang mga pamilya. Lastly, marahil sa lahat-lahat ng mga nabanggit, the Philippines continues its struggles with its economic development due to continuous corruption that will always be a setback for the country. Isa sa mga nakakalungkot na realidad na dapat nating tanggapin na kahit saang anggulo ay dito nagmumula ang mga issue at hamon ng pambansang pag-unlad ng Pilipinas. Corruption undermines the fairness of institutions and processes and distorts policies and priorities. As a result, corruption damages the legitimacy of regimes, leading to a loss of public support and trust for state and government institutions. Corruption impacts on the ability of the state to protect and fulfill its human rights obligations and to deliver relevant services, including a functional judiciary, law enforcement, health, education, and social services. Kaya sa lahat-lahat ng mga nabanggit, masasabi natin na dito nagmumula ang dahilan kung bakit kahirap abutin ang pangarap ng Pilipinas na pag-unlad. Para sa inyo, ang gobyerno ba ang dapat tanging responsable sa pag-unlad ng Pilipinas? Oo? Bakit? Hindi? Bakit hindi? Para sa akin, ang gobyerno ang siyang dapat na responsable para sa pag-unlad ng bansa. Ngunit, hindi ito dapat lamang sa kanilang mga kamay. Ang mga mamamayan ay dapat din makibahagi sa pag-unlad sa pamamagitan ng pagsunod sa mga patakaran. Gayunpaman, dapat managot ang gobyerno sa lahat ng kanilang mga aksyon. Kaya, para sa pangarap na pag-unlad, masasabi natin na kailangan tulong-tulong tayo para maabot ang ambisyon ng bawat mamamayang Pilipino.